What's an unwritten rule in your household that would seem bizarre to outsiders? In our house, we never say goodbye, ever. Not when leaving for school, work, or even long trips. My wife, Sarah, enforced this rule the day we brought our son, Ethan, home from the hospital. I thought it was just a cute quirk until I said goodbye to my dad after he visited us. Sarah's face went white. She grabbed my arm so hard it left marks and whispered, "We don't say that word in this house." That night, she finally told me why. When Sarah was 8, her mother said goodbye before leaving for work. Hours later, police found her mom's car wrapped around a tree. At the funeral, Sarah's dad collapsed, repeating, "She said goodbye. She never says goodbye." Turns out in 18 years of marriage, her mother had never once used that word, until her final day. So we created alternatives. "See you later" became our standard. Until next time. For longer separations, Ethan learned to say, "See you soon," before he could even form full sentences. When other parents at daycare said goodbye to their kids, he'd correct them with the seriousness only a 3-year-old can muster. "No, you say, see you later." When Ethan started kindergarten, his teacher called us in for a conference. Apparently, Ethan had burst into tears when the class sang a goodbye song. He kept saying that goodbye means forever, the teacher explained, concerned. We had to explain our family rule. The teacher looked skeptical but agreed to use "see you later" in her classroom. By 3rd grade, Ethan had fully embraced our rule. When his best friend Leo moved to another state, the boys refused to say goodbye. They stood in Leo's empty driveway saying, "See you later," over and over until both were sobbing. I found Ethan that night writing "not goodbye" on every page of his diary. Middle school brought the inevitable rebellion. During an argument about curfew, 13-year-old Ethan stormed toward the door. "Where are you going?" I demanded. He turned, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "Goodbye, Dad." The silence that followed was deafening. I didn't speak for 2 days. Ethan apologized through tears, promising never to say it again. High school graduation tested our rule like never before. Ethan was leaving for college across the country. As we stood in the airport, Sarah kept repeating, "See you at Thanksgiving," while fighting back tears. When the final boarding call came, Ethan hugged us fiercely and said, "This isn't even close to goodbye." During his sophomore year, Ethan called at 3 a.m. His roommate had been in a car accident. He said goodbye when he left, Ethan whispered, his voice breaking. He actually said the word "Dad." I stayed on the phone all night as Ethan kept vigil at the hospital. His roommate survived, but Ethan made him promise never to say that word again. Last year, Sarah was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. It moved quickly, too quickly. In her final weeks, relatives flew in from everywhere. Each time someone would start to say goodbye, Ethan or I would cut them off. "See you later," we'd interject. They thought we were in denial. Maybe we were. The night before Sarah died, Ethan crawled into her hospital bed. I watched from the doorway as he whispered in her ear. Later, he told me he'd made her promise not to say goodbye. Even at the end, she squeezed my hand 3 times. That was our code for zoo. Later, at the funeral, people kept saying how sorry they were that we didn't get to say goodbye. They didn't understand. The last thing Sarah said to me was, "I'll see you later, handsome." Ethan delivered the eulogy without once using the word. He ended with, "Until next time, Mom." Ethan got married last month. During the mother-son dance, he played a recording Sarah had made before she died. Her voice filled the room. "I'm so proud of you, Ethan. Save a dance for me next time." There wasn't a dry eye in the venue. Yesterday, Ethan called to tell me his wife is pregnant. "If it's a girl," he said, "we're naming her Sarah." Then he added, "And Dad, we're teaching her the rule." This morning, I found a note Sarah wrote me years ago, hidden in an old book. The last line read, "Remember, it's never goodbye. In this family, we always see each other later." I've taped it to our refrigerator, right next to the baby's sonogram picture.